Hey everyone, my name is David Turley. I am a professional shoutcaster. Now, I didn't know I was going to get here, and I'll talk about this journey with you guys. See, growing up as a kid, I eventually had a dream. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a while, but I eventually wanted to become a pro gamer. This was the dream. This is what pro gaming is like. This is electronic sports, or esports as we call it. And it's just like playing a professional sport, football, soccer, whatever you want. It's like that. There's fans, there's glory, there's big championships. It's awesome. And unsurprisingly, like pro football, pro gaming is really, really, really hard to be good at. Right? You've got to be the very, very best. And I tried that journey for like 10 years and failed at it. But I made a career change. I became a commentator instead. I became what we call in the esports world a shoutcaster. And it's exhilarating, it's fun. You're bringing your excitement about the games and you're analyzing all the strategies and telling people how incredibly good these players are. And it's a ton of fun. And esports is a huge, huge, huge world. For those of you who don't know the electronic sports world, it's massive. This is the World Cup Stadium in Seoul, Korea, and we sold it out to play League of Legends, right? Like, this is the 2014 World Championship. 26 million people tuned in to watch this World Championship, and there's me in the corner. I got to be part of this. It was an amazing, amazing experience. This world is so cool, and my story's about how I got to actually have a dream job, but I didn't know I was going to get here. See, as a kid, I hated school. School was boring, school sucked. I didn't know what I was doing with it. I didn't feel like I was learning any useful skills. And I had like glimmers of hope where I was like, maybe I want to be a teacher. Because that's fun, I like teaching people, but teachers don't make any money, and making money is important, so who'd be dumb enough to become a teacher? Like, it was not the best. That was my attempt at a BuzzFeed article, by the way. I forgot the slide. Either way, I, though, just like our host just said, I was about 15 years old, and I wanted to be a pro gamer, and that started kind of drilling around in my head, and a game called Warcraft 3 came out. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was going to become a pro gamer. I was going to be the best. I was going to hoist that trophy. I was going to be a world championship. That was going to be my goal. That was going to be me. The problem is, if you are following such a specific path that so many other people are following, and it's a really narrow path, there's like only a few that get to really succeed, it's really hard. You're one of a million, right? I played so much Warcraft 3. I got into UCSD. I was one of the better players. I was like number 2 in North America. I was like number 30 in the world. Someone point out the 30th car over here. How remarkable is that car? Like, not, right? Like, no one cares about car number 30. That's like a bus on the side and like a front row. Those guys are cool. I'm over in the back, like waiting behind everyone else. That's actually what it's like when you're striving for the same thing that someone else is striving for and there's so few spots. It's actually really, really hard. And so this is about learning to adapt and applying your other interests, your other passions, and making something cool out of it. Okay, so on the first page of my speech, I said I hated school. In case you weren't checking, it's up there. You can read as well. But I didn't want to become a teacher because I kind of hated school and I thought I didn't make any money, really. But I was one of the best Warcraft 3 players in the world, and I took a job that was even worse paying than a secondary school teacher. So I did the math. The average hourly income of the average secondary school teacher in America, if you like break their salary down into a 40-hour work week, is like $27 and change. Not bad. Thank you very much, teachers, for being amazing. I took a job that made half that. There we go. I was one of the best Warcraft 3 players in the world. I could teach you how to be awesome. I'd teach you the strategies and the tactics, and I was gonna make you amazing. And sometimes we'd actually like play a practice game right after I taught them, and they'd beat me, which was embarrassing, but at least it meant like I taught them well, so that was kind of cool. It's also worth pointing out, by the way, that I was a huge math nerd growing up. In like grade school, I did multiplication in my head because it was fun. I'm that kind of nerd, So I failed this pop quiz because I was like, oh, I don't want to become a teacher. You make no money. So I chose a job that made less than that. And I didn't realize it at the time, but it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the income here. I mean, my parents are paying for tuition and room and board, right? Who cares about money for me, right? My parents, they got money, guys, right? It's fine. But it was actually just so enjoyable. I was teaching people, right? I had thrown that career path away, but I was doing it anyway. I wanted to teach people and watch them grow and watch them become better players, and it was so absolutely fun and marvelous to be a part of this. But at the time, this was a side hobby, right? I wanted to be a pro gamer. I wanted to be the best. I wanted the fireworks. I wanted everything. And I sacrificed everything in my life to do it. See, I got into UCSD. I got into one of the best universities in the country. And it's my third year in, and I got kicked out. See, my grades were so bad because all I did was play this game because I wanted to be a pro, that I lost everything. I hadn't been on a date in like 3 years, right? School kicked me out. My parents are paying thousands of dollars a year in tuition, and I'm just making everyone disappointed, right? I'm doing nothing at all. I am running up, spoiler alert, I didn't become a pro gamer, by the way. This never worked out for me. It didn't work for me. It all failed. It all crumbled. I never became a real pro gamer. And I'm sitting there, chasing a pipe dream. I'm running up an endless staircase. There's no light at the end of the tunnel of this staircase. So I was useless, right? I was doing nothing. I was doing nothing with my life. But the funny thing was, you guys hear these success stories about the protagonist who risked everything, who just barreled down on that one goal, and they were like, I'm going to be the one guy, Jamaica had a bobsled team, right? Those stories. You hear the stories written by the winners because they're already winners. You want to hear their stories. My story is just like theirs, but I didn't get the Olympics, right? I was David, the UCSD student who failed out of college trying to be a pro gamer and just did nothing with his life. That was, right? If you change like the last 5 minutes of the movie, it's still Cool Runnings, right? That's still me. But the funny thing was, up until that last 5 minutes, right, this was a story, and I realized that I could actually still have a happy and healthy and productive and satisfying life. It was right under my nose. Because when I was trying to be a pro gamer, I had a side hobby. I joined a fan site for Warcraft 3. This was a site called wcreplays.com. It's still up there. You can go look at my old stuff and the horrible forum trolls who made fun of me. But I used their bandwidth every weekend to play Shoutcaster. We talked about this at the very start. Audio live broadcasting of professional sporting events. And at the time, esports is tiny. I'm getting 100 listeners. And that's whoa, 100 listeners. Wow, right? This is amazing. And I'm also making what are called audio commentaries. They're these 30 to 60 minute long monologues that you attach to a replay file of a match, and you send them out, and then people can listen to you, and they would learn the strategies. They talk about, oh, here's the build order he's going for, here's the units you want to choose, here's this cool flanking maneuver you do in the strategy game. You can be awesome too. I'm having the side hobby of being a teacher. Weird, right? It was right in front of me the entire time. And this, in retrospect, became the first lesson I learned, is that your hobbies are valuable. Right? Whatever you think you're doing with your life, whatever you actually enjoy doing, though, is really, really, really important. See, I had spent hours and hours of my life. I had, hundreds of hours of shoutcasting, and I made hundreds of these audio commentaries sharing my passion for games with people, or playing the games themselves, or learning how to speak more eloquently, or, sharing these high-level concepts. I was learning how to teach people. Weird, right? These hobbies that I had followed were actually really amazing skills that were useful to me as a person. This is a picture of the resume that I sent back in 2009. I actually still work at this company. It was to Riot Games. And if you can't read the text, it's fine. I listed 3 things in the experience section of the resume. Now, I had a job at some point, a real job. I didn't put it here because who needs a real job, right? No, I listed the game mod that my friend worked on that I participated in. I listed the fan site that I worked on as a volunteer, by the way. I never got paid for that kind of stuff. I listed the website that I started to sell lessons to people. I listed my fledgling pro gaming career for 3 years where I won a couple of tournaments, and I listed the tournaments that I'm in at the very bottom. Those are tournament placings. This is a resume, right? I won a tournament, hire me, bro. But this was what was in my head. This is what I thought was going to be good. At this point, at this stage, I'm now 5 years into university, and I'm still doing this kind of thing. But this was the resume I sent in, and I got hired, and I got to an interview. I guess to kind of continue on the chronological order here, I got an interview, and all I did was sit down with the director of marketing, the director of community, the president of the company, these really high-level people who are really smart. And this is a company that went on to go make the most played PC game in the world. This company went on to go make League of Legends. And I'm interviewing at this company when it's a startup, and all I'm doing is just listing off things that I care about. Oh, I'm really good at games. I'm really good at your game, actually. And I like teaching people how to play games, and I can really, create a lesson plan. I just want to make content, I'm just listing things that I know, and I don't really know how to connect them together. But this is the lesson that I learned in retrospect, is that you can connect these things together. Because the happy accident here with this company is the League of Legends, the game, the business model of that game is that it's free. You can just download it and play it, and you just, whatever, it doesn't matter. But as a player, you can choose to pay real money to unlock playable characters, or skins for them, right? So my job as, look, I know how to talk about games and I'm good at them and I can make you good at the game. I can make you want to play Aatrox the Darkened Blade. Isn't this guy cool? Isn't he fancy? He's got like sick abs and a red sword. Like, but I just like listed, like I just gushed things that I like doing, and it turned out to be like pretty much exactly this. I came into an interview for community intern, and I came out with a job description of make champion spotlights. Make these characters cool. This is the skill set that I had built as a hobbyist. This was the things that I put on my resume, and they were real-world applicable skills. And this was a dream job to me. I was doing what I loved for a living, and I've been there for 5.5 years now. The thing is, I wouldn't have gotten there without help, though. I actually fell victim to this. I underrated myself. See, I knew at a certain point if I wasn't going to be a pro gamer, then I at least wanted to work in gaming. Like, I knew I still loved games, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to do with the skill set that I didn't even know I had, right? But I had a friend who urged me to go apply to the company. He's like, no, you're a really smart dude. I really like you. You're my friend. Go apply. Do it. Go, actually seek out your dream, because I didn't think I had any dreams to actually follow. Turns out that worked, right? And the interview landed, and I didn't realize. And this is another one of the lessons I want to teach everyone is, like, your passions are worth following like right away, whether it's developing the skill sets or actually applying them somewhere, whether it's starting your own company, joining one, changing majors, going to a school across the country, whatever it is, like, go apply yourself to this sort of labor of love, right? You should be able to apply yourself to things that you care about. And the thing is, I got so lucky, and I think this is actually true for everyone. I think every success story in the world has some element of luck in it. Now, I didn't roll a D20 and I critical miss, you got fired, right? That's not how it worked, but I got lucky. So the man that urged me to apply to Riot Games, his name is also David, fun coincidence, but I met him because he was the college roommate of my old Warcraft 3 team's manager. Like the most arbitrary of connections, right? Like the randomly assigned roommates at Vassar College are the reason I met the guy who made me apply for my dream job. Like that was the random connection that my life had that was important. And everyone's life is full of random connections, right? You have a weird, fun, disparate skill set of things that you are good at. And there's these doors that open and close all the time, or ones that are a little bit stuck and they won't quite budge, and you use your skill set to open them. And that's I think what life is about, is capitalizing on these really cool and interesting experiences. Now, earlier in the talk I said that I hated school. That's not quite true. I hated parts of school. I loved parts of school as well. I was a huge math nerd. I loved numbers. I love statistics. I love how things related to one another, making things bigger and smaller. That was really exciting to me. What I hated about math was calculus. Calculus sucks. Calculus sucks so hard. And when I got into UC San Diego in 2005 as a freshman, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, right? And so I picked majors that had the word computer in them. That's a good start, right? Computer engineering, bunch of calculus. Computer science, actually a pretty heavy calculus bent at the start as well. And I couldn't get past that, right? UCSD kicked me out because my grades were so bad. But I petitioned to get back in, around my third year in, and they let me back in, and I learned another really valuable lesson, right? Because I changed majors, and I became an economics major, and economics, thankfully, has much less calculus in it, and it's really fun and exhilarating, too. I love econ. It's a great science. And, okay, I'd failed before, but I'm finally bringing my grades up. I might actually graduate college. Woo! A 5-year plan, because I wasted at least one of them. But at least I'm like progressing somewhere, and I still don't know what I'm doing yet at this point. I'm still in college. I don't know what's going on, but at least there's some light at the end of the tunnel now. Something's going well. And again, econ's exhilarating and fun. It's so useful. I'm so glad I didn't squander the opportunity to be at UCSD, because I'm learning about game theory. I'm learning about how humans react with scarcity and how humans react when things change, right? I'm a big pro-gaming nerd that I want to talk about how humans facing other humans in a closed system in a battle of wits, like this is what excites me. This is great. This is exactly what's useful. And I didn't become a professional economist, but I'm using the skills I learned in that major in my job right now and analyzing how people are reacting in these games. It's really, really important stuff. And it's really cool. And I got to actually utilize that. So really what it comes down to is, I just listed the 5 things again, and this is the closing, basically, is I just sort of ran around aimlessly following my hobbies. And honestly, I got really lucky, because all I did with my life was just like, this sounds fun, I'm gonna go do it, right? And that sounds cool, I'll do that too. And I just started getting good at things that I liked. And I had spent my life following other people's paths. Pro gaming is a thing. I like games. I want to be a pro gamer, but I failed at that. I like teaching people. I hear teaching's a thing, but I hated school and teachers don't make any money, so I didn't do that either. But here I am with these skill sets of, well, I like games. I like talking about them. I'm actually good at teaching people about games, and suddenly I have this skill set that really matters, and my passion lets me become a shoutcaster, an audio commentator, a champion spotlight creator, a video producer, all these things. I got to work in the realm that I love. I just needed a little push from a random acquaintance, and I actually got to apply these skills somewhere, right? And, it's tied into the random opportunities point, but squandering opportunities as well. Given the chance to learn with some of the smartest people in the world, I actually got to learn smart things, and they were useful to me, right? And this is what I urge you guys to take home with you, is that, I get to wake up every morning, know that I'm doing things that I love. Right? I got to be a person who dropped out of this school or got kicked out of this school, but then managed to reinvent it and come back by applying things that I knew and things that I cared about. And I think you guys all deserve that same opportunity to find what you love, what's uniquely you, right? You don't have to follow the same path as someone else, but take your 15 different skills that you care about and channel them and put them somewhere and go follow that path. That's what I want everyone to be able to do with their lives, because it's so great to wake up every day and do what you love for a living. Thank you.